Since I have a baby right now living in my house. Yeah, well, the baby's the one I'm like really it's been on my mind with the crying. It's reminded me of when I was in high school. We had a teacher, and everybody used to say to the teacher, like, he was a pretty, he wasn't even, forget about strict. He was always, what should I say? We were always wrong, never did anything right. Like he expected, it was unfair expectations, and I can look back now, and I for sure think, so people used to say to him, like, hello, weren't you once a kid? Weren't you once a teenager? Like, you don't remember what it was like? So he goes, no, I was born an adult. Oh, sorry, I was born an adult. I was born very mature and always perfect. Yeah, I see everybody going, yeah, right. Okay, that's right. So here I'm hearing this baby crying. And of course, the baby starts from one level, and slowly, as time goes on, sometimes it's very quick, they grow from level to level to level to soon. They're a big kid, then they're even an adult, and then they're further than that. Now, I'm bringing up like this. When somebody's growing, you can't expect somebody to be born an adult. It takes a lot of experience, a lot of growing, a lot of learning. The biggest thing is probably experience. It's not just being in school and learning and books and stuff like that. It's the experience, because what happens in experience? What happens? You learn how? By doing something wrong. And like, for instance, you run, you fall, you scrape your knee, you learn, I better be careful not to well, either I run, but I'm not to trip over like a crack or something like that. Look where I'm going. Don't trip over something in the way. Don't look over there while I'm running this way. You learn from experience. Some of the experiences we learn from as we get older, a lot of different things to learn from experience. So would you expect somebody just to, back in the day, I don't know when this was back in the day, it's probably a little while ago, but people would get married. Do you know how old they'd get married? 13. Ouch. All right. Who here is, let's say, 17 and older? Oh my gosh. You guys would have 3-4 kids by now. Really? Seriously? You'd have a bunch of kids by now. That's the truth. And and what happens is that, you think that would be imagine trying that today. That would be pretty, it goes on, but not in people who are, let's say, married legally. Married, unmarried moms or stuff like that. That happens. But that's not like a regular normal marriage, right? Because they expect that somebody doesn't just, when they're age of 13, they're ready to get married and have a family, a commitment. So what happens? We got to go to, let's say, school. What happens? You're used to, till when you're the baby, you're used to mommy feeding you anytime you want. You go away to school, and now you don't just get to eat whenever you want. You don't say, okay, I'm walking out, I'm eating. You pull out food and start eating. You eat by breakfast, you eat by lunch, you eat by supper, might be snack times, other times. But you don't just pick up food and eat. You don't get that in the school. What happens? You learn that now you have to wait. So at 3-4 years old, they go to school, and they have to wait till snack time. They have to wait till lunchtime. They can't just run around. They have to wait till recess. So slowly over the process, we learn how we just can't get it immediately. We have to, what? Got to wait. We go away to camp. What happens? What do we learn by going away to camp? How to get along with other kids, but what?
Be independent.
Be independent, but be away from your parents. So sometimes you go away for a 3-week session, 4-week session, maybe the whole summer, 2 months. That's a long time, right? Being away from home. You know, someone was just telling me, who was it? Gosh, I don't remember. So many people. Someone just told me, he says, you know, life was not easy for me. My parents sent me away to camp when I was 7. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, that's pretty young, no? 7 years old, but that's what goes on in camp. So he goes, it was very difficult. So it made a big impact on him when he was 7 years old. Then he went away to camp and he left his parents. So that prepares you for later on in life. Go away from home and you're in school. You're away in yeshiva. So you're away for a couple months. Had you just thrown to the wolves and have to be away for a couple months, that's tough. But slowly there's a process. Now, how about another thing you learn in camp? You go away to camp and you say, gosh, I know I wanted to go to camp because all my friends went to camp and everything, but I realize now, after 24 hours, I don't want to be away from my parents. I know my friends are here, but I want to be back in my bed without 20 other guys snoring in my bunk, a bunch of people. I'm used to having my own room. I like my own bathroom. I don't like any of this. I don't like the guys pissing all over the seats. All this is gross. I want to be back home. So after 24 hours, what do? I decide I'm going home. So I go to the office, and what do? I complain. Come on, got to do more than that to get home. Oh, how do you just grab a phone? I mean, guys have tried that over the years, huh? What? No, you start crying. I can't be away from home. You don't understand. I can't. Fine. And what do your parents say? You get on the phone. They go, oh yeah. You get on the phone. The parents say to you,
try it for a few more days.
Come on, give it a little time. You've only been there for 12 hours. You've only been there for 15 minutes. Whatever it is. They say, come on, give it some time. And you learn. And parents say, listen, after a couple more kvetches of a couple more days, and they say, you've already lasted for 72 hours. It's amazing. You've never been away from us for 72 hours. Unbelievable. You can do this. You can handle the rest of the summer, right? So you learn, your parents are teaching you another lesson. Commitment. You commit that you go to camp, you stay in camp. And that helps you later on in life. I was telling somebody, imagine, I know a guy, got married, and after 4 weeks, comes home, and his wife, his new kala, she's gone. She left. So he goes, whoa, so he calls her cell phone, she doesn't answer. He texts her. He says, where are you? She says, I'm home. He says, where's your stuff? She goes, I moved back home. She goes, stop texting me. So he goes, he was shocked, what's going on? Is that a normal thing to do? Anybody think it's normal?
No.
Imagine you're the guy, and not only that, your parents don't pay for the wedding. Imagine you saved up, you worked summers and this and that, and you save up all this money, you spend it on a wedding, and after 1 month, she picks up and leaves. And everybody knows you committed to this, and it was a whole big thing, and for months, you guys were getting ready, and she picks up after a month and gone. No discussions, no nothing. I just don't want to be here anymore. Lack of commitment. And you learn commitment. Where'd you learn? Camp, yeshiva. You learn commitment. You committed to it, you stick with it. Will it be tough in the beginning?
Yep.
Yes, it will. Does it get easier? Hopefully. It does. But what do? You get involved. You cook a little bit in the kitchen. You do things. And you become more involved. And you start forgetting. You're trying not to be focused by all these things that are, I need my this, I want my that, da 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 da. You move on. That's part. But you committed to something, you stick with it. So these are things that gradually we learn. That guy, that teacher, like I said in the beginning, the teacher said, oh, I was born an adult. Does that make any sense? No. Because all this stuff is a gradual learning process. There are so many things. We learn how not to kvetch, how to get along with other people. It's a gradual process. You start off, when do you start learning how to get along with others? In the playpen. Yeah, you're with another kid and they have a toy and you want the toy. Or you have the toy, they want the toy, whatever it is. You learn how to get along with each other. And as time goes on, you have more relationships and more friendships. Each of these things are steps of learning. We don't expect, nobody is expected to just be born an adult and just be committed, able to do things, never make mistakes, stick with things, be responsible. No. Would anybody say, okay, here's a kid, comes right from his mommy's, house, and we're going to all of a sudden make him responsible for all kinds of stuff? No, it's not fair. So you have to learn responsibility also over time through not just books, through experience. That's right, learning on the job. Until finally, as the time goes on, you have become that new person. Nobody's expected to be that responsible person overnight. But how are you going to get there? By doing it and slowly growing in commitment, responsibility, etc. So, but how do you do it? Yeah, hard work. It's not easy. But if you don't do it now, how are you going to be able to be there later on? So you got to stick with it. I know it's tough, but you guys can do it. And everybody else out there in the world has done it before you. Just got to step by step. Yeah, we fall backwards. We get depressed. We get upset. That happens. But then we get back up. Just get back up and start. It's the people who are able to keep getting back up and going forward who are the ones who are going to be successful. Think positive. Let's have a great day.